Hello, everyone, and welcome to Friday Night Pint Live. It is me, Danny, and I'm joined by a special guest, Big Dave. If you watch the fan cams, of course, you'll recognise Dave. A lot of the lads ain't about. Nicky will be jumping in. He has told me for a bit soon, so we should see Nicky soon. But yeah, great to have you on, Dave. Good to see you, mate.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, good to see you too. How are you?
Yeah, mate. Listen. Do you know what? I've been trying to avoid as much West Ham news as possible, but we got to talk about it. So, it's just, do you know what? We try and have a laugh on this show, right, and not to be too down in the dumps. But honestly, there is nothing positive to talk about. So, if people get the ump that we're not being super positive, I will try to look at positives, but it's not a lot to be positive about as a West Ham fan at the moment, Dave.
No, I'll be honest. All week I've been asked if I'll calm down since my rant on Saturday. It was just I come out of that ground. I genuinely can't remember a time where I was ever so angry, just pure anger at football as I was on Saturday. That was unforgivable.
And Scott fucked up Dave's first fan cam as well, so he's even more angry than you all saw.
Obviously, yeah. That calmed me down a little bit.
Yeah. There was a little bit of time where we had to deal with that, but good to see everyone in the chat. Before we get into it, I will put the chat in the link. A link to vote for our one and only Chesney Hawkes is in Celebrity Big Brother. Give him a vote. And to win, obviously, he's one of ours. He's a West Ham boy. We all want to see him do well. And so vote for him on Celebrity Big Brother and support one of our own. So the link is there. Kindly sent by Miss Hammeret. So there you go. It's in the chat. I'll put it in the description as well on a bit. And shout out Big Dave. No, it was good seeing you. Not Big Dave, sorry. Red 5. I've been bumped into... We was with Nick and Scott, and we bumped into Red 5. And yeah, listen, mate, you said how I was feeling at halftime, mate. Fuming, absolutely fuming with the performance. But we'll get into the stories, Big Dave, because less said about that Southampton game, the better.
Yes,
I think you said everything that needed to be said, and we said everything that needs to be said on post-match pint. But it's potentially a mass clear out is coming in the summer. So there's two things here. Old Sean Whetstone, Sullivan's mate, he's initially reported that we're broke and we're in financial issues. Now, I took that with a massive pinch of salt because he reports that before every transfer window, we're skint. And we go and end up dropping 150 mil. So I'm taking that with a grain of salt. I don't know about you, Dave.
I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised. I think, if you look at the transfer spend over the past few summers, at some point that's going to come back to bite you. At some point you're going to have to rein it in for PSR. So I wouldn't be overly surprised. I think it's an odd time to announce it. Normally at this point we're all still getting the, we've been linked with various Ballon d'Or winners, to try and boost season ticket sales. It's a weird thing now to come out while season tickets are still on sale. You're trying to get renewals to start leaking it to the usual suspects that we've got no money.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? That is weird timing. Since I put it out early, I agree. But sometimes we do it every year. I think a lot of it is mind games, trying to drive down prices, trying not to, show your hand. So I will react by what we do in the transfer window, not what these ITKs say we're going to do. But one thing that I can see another thing, Sean. It's not even a report because it's you can kind of see it's kind of common sense when you look at the names, but you could see as many as 16 departures from the current squad in the summer as Potter looks to reshape the squad in his image. So the players, there's going to be players out of contract in June, which include Danny Ings, Aaron Creswell, Vladimir Soufal, Michael Antonio, Lucas Fabianski, and Kurt Zuma. I bloody forgot about him. Potentially could see short-term contracts offered to Fabianski and Soufal, but no guarantees. Before we get into the rest we're going to sell, Out of those names, Dave, any that you would want to see us offer contracts to, or you wouldn't mind seeing us offer contracts to? So Danny Ings, Creswell, Soufal, Antonio, Fabianski, Zuma.
I would offer a contract to Soufal. I'm going to say something that might be incredibly controversial, but I wasn't that sold on Walker Peters on Saturday. And I do think as a backup option, Soufal for another year or 2 years, we can't afford to go into this summer and spend money and spend wages on players that don't improve this first 11. I mean, this first 11 needs improvement. If we can get by with Soufal, and I still think Soufal is a perfectly valid Premier League right back. He's not as good as Wan-Bissaka. You know, the way Wan-Bissaka's developed and grown since he's come in, you know, I wouldn't pick Soufal over him, I think, for any game now. But as a backup option, if Wan-Bissaka was out for a couple of weeks, we'd be comfortable with Soufal. You know, it's not worth, I think, blowing big wages and an agent's fee and signing on fees and all that on someone that isn't going to replace Wan-Bissaka. So I would keep Soufal. For an emotional point, I would keep Chris. I'd like to keep Antonio for another year if he's, you know, if he comes back from this broken leg. You know, we're not blessed with attacking options, and I know Fulkrug's here next year. You know, you want another option, and at least it means we can go bigger, if you like. We've got more to spend and more to invest on the number 9, that one, you know, 15 goal a season striker that we're going to need next season. So Antonio, maybe for an emotional, but then we don't really need to keep Cresswell, you know, the footballing terms. Now you've seen the emergence of Ollie Scholes, and you've got that Scholes and Emerson kind of battle going on for left back. But I would possibly keep Cresswell around, you know, and if he's about, you know, wages depending. I wouldn't blow the budget on him, obviously, but wages depending. Cresswell for another 12 months for that experience and that voice in the dressing room.
Yeah. I mean, with Carl Walker-Peters, it seems Potter agrees with you because it's been reported that we're no longer interested now after that game. So I think everyone saw that. Yeah, maybe that's not the answer. I think with Antonio, they're looking to apparently give him the rest of the season to see if he can get to full fitness and get back to, you know, anywhere close to where he was at before they consider it. Like, to me, there is an emotional side, and of course that's, I think, for all of us, like, you know, Fabianski, Creswell, Antonio have been here for so long, and it would be nice, you know, in the sentimental way to keep a bit of that team there. But another part of me thinks that we need to be a bit more ruthless, and if you're not contributing, then it's time to go. And there's a lot of wages we can clear out. You know, I think Creswell's probably on like 65,000 or something like that, around that. He's got to be. Antonio is on 100 grand a week. Soufal, you could offer Soufal. He's on like, we'd probably have to bump his wages though, because he ain't going to stay on that 35 grand a week. No chance. He's a criminal that we've kept him on that for so long.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't begrudge a bit. If you gave him 50 grand for 2 years, you wouldn't begrudge a bit on the basis of what we've had. If you look at over the length of his service, you know, that 50 grand for another 2 years would more than compensate him for the underpayment he's had during the years that, you know, he's been such a stellar right back for us.
Yeah. I mean, look, the thing is, there's 16 names. I'm going to get into some about on the for sale list soon. But realistically, it would be crazy to get rid of 16 players in one transfer window, right? And just to rebuild it all in one go. We need some overlap. So if you do keep a Creswell to play in that back three and support there and you know, be a leader and dresser, if you do keep Soufal as that backup right back, you know, for a season at least, you know, if you keep Fabianski as a second choice goalkeeper for one more season, things like that, where there's a little bit of an overlap where we're not gutting the whole team and starting from scratch. I think with the actual players that could go for sale, apparently Kudus, and we'll get into a bit more about him in a bit, like we'll really go into it, but Kudus is 99% sure to leave this summer. He's been linked for a move to Saudi for 100 mil. To fund more incoming players for Potter, and Lucas Paqueta is likely to join him if found innocent. So Paqueta and Kudus are two of our best players on paper likely to go. How are we feeling on that?
It's mad, isn't it? Because if you went back say 12 months, if we go back 12 months and you said this summer, a summer transfer window where we sell Kudus and Paquetá, we'd all be, we'd be tearing out seats, wouldn't we? Be writing. But right now, on the seasons they've had, if we've got to lose someone, the only alternative to losing Kudus, really, in terms of generating funds, is going to be Bowen. And I think we can all agree that, we're not going to sell Bowen over Kudus. So, if we can get, if we can get the 80 million, 90 million, whatever it is that Saudi have been linked with, and they're willing to pay it, happy days. I will put him in the back of my car and proverbially drive him to Arabia with that. But Paquetá, I would sell, but the problem is that if you can get him, and we have started to see a little bit better of him, in recent weeks, we are getting a little bit more of that flair back. He's playing with a little bit more confidence. And if you're going to sell him, realistically, how much are we going to get? Say 30 million, 35 million? Is that a realistic? I'm not saying, but is that a realistic fee for? And then what do you spend? Like for 35 million pound, do you bring in a player as good as him on his day? I mean, how do you replace him?
30 million pounds, I tell them to piss off. Like, there's no point. Like, I'd be looking for as close to that 85 million, as close as possible to that Man City were gonna pay us, right? We probably won't get that. I get it. Like, he's got less time in his contract, his address, but there's no point selling for 35 million. Like you said, who are we going to get for that? Who has that same quality as him? So I wouldn't. 50. If we could get 50, then I'd be considering it. But 35 for Paquetá, madness. To me, Steve Bell 499 super chat says worrying times, folks. Thank you very much, Stephen. It is, and hopefully, it's all unfounded, but the signs just aren't good at the moment. It's just not the best time. And other players looking to leave, and I agree with you on Kudus, by the way. Yeah, I agree. Love him, but he's just not been it this season. So if we can get that sort of money for him, sell it. If his heart's not in it, bye. See you later. Get someone that wants to graft. But the other names. Edson Alvarez. Now, that's another story we talk about in a bit of. He's reported that he's had a massive fallout, apparently, before the game, and we may not see him. We may never see him in a West Ham shirt again, which is, because we was all questioning, like, why an Alvarez playing? Weird one. What do you think? What are your thoughts on Alvarez?
Honestly, hand on heart, I voted him player of the year last year. I thought he was one of those players that did everything so well that you noticed it more when you didn't have him. He's a player in that position. He's not going to, he's not going to do anything particularly eye-catching. But when he wasn't playing, I felt you really noticed it last season. Whereas this year, he's just, for whatever reason, he's just completely got it at boil. And I think if we can get our money back, that's the player realistically. If we get 30 million for, you're going to accept it. But I can't explain it. I just can't, for the life of me, I can't understand, can't explain his drop off in form this year.
Yeah, it is disappointing because he looked like the business when he came in. He looked like the man, and it's a shame. And if this is true, we're just a fucking mess. How many times this season have we heard about a player having a big fallout before the game and then they're just dropped because of nothing to do with football reasons? It's too many times this season. And, that's just going to drive his valuation down. So it's really disappointing. Red 5, 499 super chat. Thank you very much, mate. I'm done. Kudus played out of position and Paquetá doesn't want to be here. He walks into an Arsenal or City and that's what hurts the most. I think he's talking about Kudus there. Thing is with Kudus, and I very much was one of the people saying this same thing, like he's being played out of position. But I look this season, no matter what position he has played in, he's looked like a shell of the player we see last season. So I don't think it's just down to him being played in a bad position. There's other things at play, and I would love if we could see that Kudus from last season. But we've not really seen it. His output this season has been pathetic. And I look at some of the games and his decision-making, his selfishness. It's not good enough. And he has to take responsibility as well, as much as, positioning, Lopetegui, all of that. You know,
I'll be honest as well. Yeah, I mean, I'll get a few things wrong over the course of the season, but I remember saying early in the season that I really wanted to see Kudus up front. I thought with his ability to run direct at players, if you put him through the middle, you get him on the last man. You know, that's where he was really going to come to life. And he's had his chances up front, and he's done nothing with it. We've seen him. He just looks so short of confidence. I think that's the problem here at the moment. It's his mentality. It's not physically what he's doing. It's just mentally that he can't get himself out, whatever mess it is in his head. That means when he goes for a goal, he's always taking one touch too many. He's always trying to beat a man he's just beaten. And, if you look at the elite players in the Premier League, if you look at players like, Salah and Isak and the players that are in great form this season, they get half a sniff and they know where the shot's going off. Yeah. And with Kudus, it's just not happening for him at all.
And the thing is with the confidence thing, because, I think there's definitely something there. But I say this to one of Chelsea lads I do a show with who's talking about Palmer, and Palmer's been crap, and he's saying confidence. So the problem with confidence, it's such an intangible that you can't do anything about. It's this hope that we'll get his goal and he'll be good again, but it doesn't really do anything for West Ham. And we just keep playing him, or we just keep going forward and hoping he finds his confidence again. And if you haven't had it all season, we're nearly the end of the season, that's a whole season, and you've been out of confidence. To me, we should just cash in, and maybe we'll go find it in the Saudi league, and we can just reinvest that money. But it's a damn shame. So Rodriguez is another one. It was a free transfer. He's been non-any at West Ham, and he really had I think he had one good half against Spurs at White Hart Lane or something. I can remember.
No, I remember that game. I remember that game well. And he had one good half because he made a couple of eye-catching tackles. And what happened? Wan-Bissaka was still in that early phase of Wan-Bissaka's West Ham career, where he was bombing forward and leaving space behind. And we was getting overrun in midfield. So Rodriguez was getting back and making tackles behind, what would have been in Wan-Bissaka's area, because he didn't make the tackle in the first instance high up the pitch. I remember that game. Well, I remember watching that and just thinking, this is just further evidence that Rodriguez is not the player that anyone ever thought we was getting. And the frustrating thing, of course, is that we've got Freddie Potts out on line, we've got Lewis Orban in the 21s, and he's just any player. I mean, any player in the 20, any player in the 18s, go down the under 12s, get a player in the under 12s. They're going to be able to take the ball and play 2-yard passes, and they're going to be caught out of position occasionally, and that's all Rodriguez done. But they're going to learn from it and get better. And this guy's just going to pick up his wages, go home at the end of the day, shrug his shoulders, and crack on and we don't see an improvement. We don't see him learn anything, and we just see the same old carry on.
Yeah, we got to get him out. We got to get him out. This is such a funny contract where people sort of pay attention to football in moments, and then that's the narrative. Like Everton are doing brilliant, like they're amazing at the moment. That's the thing. I'd buy Moyes out of his Everton contract. Look what he's doing with them. Please come back home. 1 win in 6. Okay, they're doing better than us. They're above us, but don't act like he's revolutionizing football over there. Like 1 win in 6. So it's not like he's pulling up any trees at the moment. He had the new manager bounce, and that bounce has slowed down. So, when you look at it, I think people are, and they're just 2 points above us. Yes, they were behind us and they've overtaken us, but we've fucking shot ourselves in the foot so many times. So I just think it's massively overstated how amazing Everton are. I don't get it.
I think people have sort of short-term memory loss for just forgotten how bad we were Moyes' last season. How many games did we concede 3, 4, 5, 6 goals in? And that was his forte. His thing was always, we keep it tight. If we concede the second goal, we don't lose no more, and we batten down the hatches and we sit on a 2-0 loss. And we just went on, 5-2 at Palace, 5-0 Chelsea, 5-0 Fulham, 6-0 Arsenal. We were 3-1 up against Newcastle, St James's Park, 15 minutes ago, lost 4-3. That whole season, especially the second half, we won without the cup of Bristol City. That whole second half of that season, it was like 4 wins in 4 months. And people forget that. And it's all well and good.
And that's the thing.
Prague. Go on.
I was saying like that. You're right. I was saying it's unforgivable to me to be playing defensive football and, basically conceding that level of goals. It's absolutely unforgivable for me. Like, if you're going to sit there and play defensive football, we at least want to see us not conceding that many goals. But to 5-6 playing defensive football, no, it's not acceptable. Stuart makes a really good point here. We got no money, but bid 57 million for Duran in January. Where's that money gone? There you go.
Did we make that bid, or did Sullivan just put that out there because he wanted to look like he had some ambition and was on tune with the fans?
Yeah, but the thing is, with the phantom bid thing, like, I get it, and I get the whole making us look like it. But if you make an official bid, even a small chance, there's a chance that bid gets accepted. So if you realistically do not have the money, to the point of, if they accept that bid and we sign that player, that puts us into severe financial issues with FFP. That's a massive gamble just to say, look, we've got so I think there's money there. Maybe there's not enough to act like, we can't spend any money until we sell players. I think it's massively overstating it. Like, okay, maybe we can't spend another 150 mil before a player is sold, or even 100 mil. Maybe we are going to have to sell, but we should be able to. We should have some money. We get 100 mil every year off the Premier League, near enough. And, we've cleared money off the wage books. We're going to clear even more money off the wage books. So, yeah, I think it's Sullivan playing Sullivan games. Emerson I don't think he's in this list of players available for sale, but I would extend, I think, as an option. But I think Emerson. Listen, no players cover themselves in glory at the moment, but yeah, I would see him. So I don't think we want to be prioritizing left back at the moment. Personally,
100% agree. I think the option you've got as well, especially with the development goals, is you've got two left backs that offer you different things going forward. Emerson will beat a man. Emerson is very good at going past the player, and Ollie Scholes is an excellent crosser of the ball. So you can play the two together down the left flank. If you can get them in tune with each other, so they can communicate as to who's going to go, who's going to sit. Your left side is sorted with Emerson and Scholes, because Emerson will go forward and take on players, and you've got Scholes on the overlap to play the crosses in. And now we've got a big 6'2" German in the middle. You've got someone who can benefit from those crosses.
Yeah. We've got Nicky here. I think he's audio only.
Hello?
We can hear you. We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Yeah, my camera's... I think I'm going to have to duck out, Dan, because he keeps on cutting off.
All right, your internet's...
Let me try and find a better spot for the internet.
All right, mate. See you in a bit. He's left it looking all weird. Oh no, he's completely messed me up here. There we go. Right. Yes. So other names. Let's keep. Don't forget, by the way, vote for Chesney Hawkes on Big Brother. I put the link in the description as well. Do give him a vote. Love to see him win it. He's a great bloke, as well as a West Ham fan. So, and I've lost my list of players there. Right. Let's get back to that. So the other players were, and I'm doing this off the top of my head now because I've lost it. So yeah, I said Alvarez, Souček, Rodriguez, like I just said. Did I see Soler on that list? Soler, right? Oh no, he's alone, so he'll be returning.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
we're not keeping him. There's no. We're not going to spend money and pay his way. Apparently, he's on 240,000 a week. Someone said. I've heard.
Is he? I thought he was supposed to be on less money than reported. Or
I mean, what PSG paid him and what we're paid him are different things. But
yeah. This is the thing, isn't it? We're paying a portion of his wages. We're not paying the full wages. Ferguson is going to go back. Obviously, we're not keeping him. Absolutely, just
no chance.
Pointless. Absolutely pointless he's been. Fulkrug is available for sale, which I think he's a very good player. I question his fitness. That's the only thing why I would sell him is his ability to stay fit for a decent level of time. That's the big thing.
I think it depends how much money goes in for him. If you get a good bid, if you get your money back for him, if you can get the 25 million or 27 million we paid for him back, then you can reinvest that. Obviously, he's 33. His resale value doesn't rise, and you can reinvest it and go and buy a younger striker that will improve, will get better. I've got no aversion to keeping Fulkrug either as an option. Like you said, I looked at him when we signed him in the summer, and I thought with him and Antonio, we've got 2 60-minute strikers. You've got 2 strikers that I think can play 60 minutes, but aren't going to give you the full 90. And I think we're seeing that now. So if we can get a decent fee back for Fulkrug, I would be happy to sell. But equally, I wouldn't be desperate to sort of take whatever we can get, because I think there's a player there in the bench that is going to give you options in games when you need something different.
There's 2 surprising ones here. Kilman and Todibo. My God. Kilman and Todibo. That's a mental pairing. I mean, look, defensively, it's been a tough season. I like Kilman. There's times where he hasn't covered himself in glory, but we've had just a constantly changing back line. Todibo, I think, is quality. I think there's some question marks over his fitness going forward. But, look, we're not going to get anywhere near the 40 million we paid for Kilman back. Nowhere near it. Is there any point in selling him?
No, I mean, it's going to be a buyer's market if we sell Kilman, because exactly that, you're not going to get back. The thing I will say about Kilman is that we signed him for 40 million, 7-year deal. Now, if we'd have paid, say, a 5 or 6 million loan fee, and we was going to sign him this summer 34, 35 million, I think people would have a different outlook on Kilman, because I think people would say, no, let's not spend that money. Let's go and buy something out there that's cheaper, that's younger, that has potential to grow, because I don't think we've got the player in Kilman that we've not got a £40 million centre half in Max Kilman. With Todibo, I agree with you. I think there's clearly fitness issues. Is maybe a little bit of mentality with him. Obviously we had the rumours early in the season of fights with Lopetegui and so on. So, but again, I don't see you've gone and spent. Surely by now we've done the obligation to buy thing. We must have met the clauses that he's going to play so many games. We've got to pay the £35 million fee. You're not going to sell him for a profit, I don't think. I don't see anyone coming in and going, we've seen enough with his fitness and with his performances that we're going to give you 40 or 45 million for him. So at best, you're going to get your money back on the 35 million, and realistically, you're probably going to have to take a loss on it. So it wouldn't make sense. I wouldn't sell it.
£75 million worth of two centre backs that we just signed that we could potentially be selling at a loss.
It's only West Ham, and it's only West Ham. And what will make that worse is that if we sell to Debo, we're keeping Mavropanos.
Well, yeah, I mean he's if up for sale, but if we can't find replacements and we do sell him, then he ends up staying. Ward-Prowse is up for sale as well, which I don't think we should have loaned him. However, I don't see a long-term future for him at this club. I'd sell him.
I would sell him if we can get a decent fee for him. I think realistically, you could sell for what you could sell Ward-Prowse for. You could go and buy. Actually, I'll take that back. I don't think we need. If we sell Ward-Prowse, I don't think we need to buy it. I think you've got Earthy coming back from loan. You got Potts and you got Orford. So I don't see a need to buy Ward-Prowse's replacement. But of course, if you go and get that money, you can then upgrade. You've got more money to spend, and the more money you've got to spend, the better player you're going to buy. And we really, really need to buy one. We need a goalkeeper, a striker, and a centre midfielder. And the more we can invest into those areas, the better players we can buy. I think the better stocks we are for next year.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll probably need, if Alvarez goes, we're going to need a defensive midfielder as well. We're going to need a lot. So this idea, when Potter come out and said 4 players, I really hope he meant before anyone goes. like, because we do not want to go back to scraping the bottom of the tub of butter with our squad depth.
No, we can't afford that at all. But again, like this is the whole thing of this season. It's like we've got 5 or 6 games. Let's start getting some of those young players in. Let's start seeing if we can fill up some of those squad places with those young players, and then we can go and invest, and we can get that first 11 up to a scratch where we want it to be.
Yes. Oh, mate. It's going to be one of the things. The thing is, we are so crap at selling players as well.
Yeah.
We're awful. I mean, the Souček, apparently, where he's odds on to reunite with Moyes in the summer over at Everton, and we can expect to receive a transfer fee of around £15 million with add-on. And he'll get a significant pay rise for his move to Everton. So, like, Nicky was talking about he wouldn't take anything lower than 30 million. I'm thinking, this is a player Moyes wants. It's a key player in what Moyes wants to do. Surely we can do better than 15 million, unless those add-ons are significant. Surely we can push them to 20.
Yeah, I mean, you got to push them north for 20. In this day and age, this market, it's for a player that scored, a midfielder that's got eight goals in the Premier League this year. How many midfielders have got a better return than that? So yeah, we've and Moyes is going to need him. He's a key piece of Moyes' jigsaw. So we've got to get as much as we can. I agree with Nicky, actually. I would push 30. I would say to Moyes, look, you've got the money from the new stadium. You've got that new stadium move. We know you've got money to spend. If you want him, pay the premium.
And this is the thing, like, I always sort of criticize what he does on the ball and that sort of thing. And that's the thing, like, but he's popped up in clear moments, in key moments. He's popped up in key moments for us, scored goals, and points-wise, the games that he started, we've got more points in. So as much as I think we need to start looking at a future beyond Souček, he has been a key figure for us. So to sell him for 15 million, we'd be doing ourselves a disservice, I think. And that is the problem. This is going to be a pattern we see. All those names I've listed, we're going to be selling for a cut price because that's what we do. And this is what Red 5 put a comment. Only West Ham would announce a fire sale and expect decent money. We put this out there through the Sullivan's mouthpiece, and we're getting rid of all these players. It's a sale. It's buy one get one free. And like Alvarez, we're not going to get anywhere near what we paid for him back. Souček, that's 50 million. To Debo, again, nowhere near it. He hasn't played enough games. His fitness, Fulkrug. His fitness issues. He's barely played this season. We're not going to get much for him. Kilman, we'll be lucky to get 20 million at this point for him. And then, I think a lot of these other players, I think like with Rodriguez, we're probably just going to have to tear up his contract at that rate.
Yeah.
I can't see us getting anything. The money is in Paqueta and Kudus. And I swear to God, if we sell Paqueta for 35 million, I'm fucking done, because these are the two players that have actual real value right now. And if we sell these at a bargain and we can't get good prices, like all these other clubs get fucking good prices. When we buy players, we pay over the odds. How comes we pay 40 million for fucking Max Kilman? We pay these prices. Everyone knew it was over the odds at the time. We pay that. Wolves couldn't believe how much we were paying. But when we want to sell our players at surplus requires, we don't get anywhere near the odds, let alone over the odds.
No, it's so frustrating, isn't it? I mean, like, how many players really? When was the last time we sold a player for profit? We just don't do it.
Rice was it. It's just Rice, isn't it?
I mean, he's an academy product, obviously, but I mean, like, I can't think of the last time we bought a player, developed him a little bit, and then sold him on and made good money. And if you look at obviously tomorrow's opponents, they're the best at it. I mean, they're experts. That's what we've got to be doing. We've got to be trying to find those those players that we can bring in and stop this culture of spending 38 million, 40 million or whatever it was on Alvarez, and then 2 years later we're saying, well, what can we take back?
Well, that's what hopefully Potter and McCauley are coming in to do, and like you said, replicate a bit of that at Brighton, and we can find these gems and stop overpaying for every player we sign. But I just wish we were more shrewd when it comes to sales, because I look at whenever we're going, the prices clubs are quoting for us, and the prices we sign players at, and you think, wow, like, why can't we sell players like that? Why can't we get good value? Like, the players that we're looking to sell, most of them, apart from Rodriguez, there's some value there. Like, there's Alvarez, Souček, it's Todibo, Kilman. There's value there. Mavropanos, I think it'd be good if he went back to the German league. He'd probably do well there. If we get 10 million for him there, I think that'd be good. He's not worked out for us, but and the problem is Sullivan's negotiating it all. We ain't got Titan anymore. This is Sullivan. We've got to do these negotiations.
Why again? Go back there. Why employ a director of football? You let him run the football operations. Only West Ham would ever employ a director of football. I then say, well, actually, you're a bit of admin staff, really. It was a bizarre experiment that was never going to work with David Sullivan, having his fingers on the keys.
Yeah, and this is my worry for the season. For the summer, it's Sullivan back in charge again, negotiating everything, trying to get deals over the line. That's why we're going to have to hope that Potter and McCauley find those gems that are going to be easier to do business with, it's going to be hard for us to get big names over the line. I've just seen, apparently, Jonathan David has already said he's not interested. We're interested in Delap, no chance. So we're going to have to really reevaluate our targets. We're not going to get the big names in the summer. We're not going to get no marquee signings. It's going to have to look for those strikers. That's the next Delap. That's what we're going to have to find, because we ain't getting the Delaps, mate. I can't think of any striker that we could all say, if you look and go, yeah, he's the guy that we can get over the line.
No, I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not sold on Delap. I think he's had one good season, in the Prem. And for the money they're going to want, it's a huge gamble. If it doesn't work out and you pay 41 million pounds for him, it's a big chunk of your transfer budget, and you're still in the same position next year. I do have a little bit of pessimism as well with his transfer window, in that if you look at, obviously, what Brighton's model is with their data-driven analysis and so on, it worked kind of before Potter, it worked during Potter, it worked after Potter. And ever since Potter left, he went to Chelsea, and his transfer policy was, we'll go back to Brighton and buy their players. Obviously, it's hard to judge him on the January transfer window, but when the push comes to it, his only idea was, let's go back to Brighton and take one of their players. Realistically, we can't afford to buy. I think
that's harsh, though, because it's Chelsea. Like, that's just Chelsea's policy. Like, he obviously went there as a head coach. So I don't think that was just, obviously, any manager goes into a new club, right? They're going to want some players that they know, right? So it's like Moyes wanting Soufal and Souček. But Chelsea do business how, they do business. Like, this is the Chelsea, they splash money. So I don't think we was ever going to see Brighton Potter there. And they got McCauley there, who is data-driven. So we'll really get to see and judge him to see if, like you said, like, it was just Brighton and he didn't have any input in the summer. But it's hard to, because Chelsea is such a fucking circus. They really are.
Oh, they are, yeah.
By the way, happy birthday to David Moyes. Speaking of David Moyes, it is his 62nd birthday today. So just because I argue against people that say we should get him back and stuff like that, don't mean, I don't have respect for him, and I don't wish him all the best, and I wish him a very happy birthday today. Have a good one, Moisey.
I'll second that. Happy birthday, Moy. Thank you for Prague.
Yeah.
All the criticism I've given you for your last year, thank you for Prague. That was a great memory.
Yeah, 100%. So listen, I hope he's had a great day. Red 5, 199 super chat. Thank you very much, mate. Last super chat. We never replaced Zuma and Dawson. Let me think on that a second. So we had Zuma and Dawson. Who else did we had? Ogbonna, Mavropanos, I think, at that time. Aguerd, yeah. So we did let a lot of defenders go. We didn't really, like you said, replace them all. So yeah, I think that's a fair shout. And now we potentially the players that we have got. Like all three of our centre-backs, we've got 3 centre-backs that play, not including Creswell, who just plays there, but Creswell's out contract anyway. They're all up for sale. So if we let Creswell's contract end and we sell all of these, like Kilman, Tadibo, Mavropanos, we've got no centre-backs, like senior centre-backs. Then what? Now you're going to go to the youth who haven't even been given a chance off the bench at centre-back? That's meant. Chesney finished 5th place. That's a disgrace, mate. Bloody hell. Well, good effort. I mean, I haven't watched. To be honest, I've been so out of touch with telly and stuff like that. What's going? I didn't even know he was on it. I ain't even been on social media really, so I did not know he was on it. 5th place. So I thought Big Brother was you vote people off every week, every Friday. People get voted out, and then the last 2, it's between them. How do you finish 5th place? I don't know. Fake news. Chelsea's still. It's Chesney. Chesney's. It's Paulie Walnuts though. You can't believe anything you say. I believe I'll be doing a watch along tomorrow. So we've got sponsorship news as well. West Ham's long-term deal with Betway could end early, with Irish betting company Boyle Sports rumoured to offer £12.5 million plus sponsorship deal. This is ahead of the ban on betting sponsors in the 26-27 season, which is mad, like, because then they're obviously just sponsoring us for a season. So we end Betway early, and then we get the other betting sponsorship. So it's just a one of 12.5 mil. I don't know what Betway pay us. How much is Betway sponsorship worth? Betway. Yeah, I'm not sure if anyone knows that. But listen, anything fee. So about 10 million a year. So it's around about 2.5 million increase, which is, it's some money. Nothing to celebrate, nothing to be excited about.
It's enough to pay Sue Fowley 50 grand a week for a year, isn't it? I mean, like, it's another year of playing Sue Fowley.
There you go. That's it. That gets Sue Fowley's contracts. So I'll be happy to wait. Do you know what? Actually, I need to look at what the fucking logo is of this. What did I say? It was Boyle Sports.
Boyles, yeah.
Boyle Sports. What is their logo? Oh, it's fucking shit. This is championship. I'm going to share this. Present. I'll show you all. This is absolutely tin pot championship level sponsorship logo. Share screen. There we go. Tab. Window. Boyle Sports. Right. This is their logo. If you can. No, that's wiki. If you can all see that, to me, get out of the way. I don't know that on our shirt. That's Tim Pot to me.
Yeah, it's an ugly looking sponsor, isn't it?
It looks championship. I mean, which might be ideal. Although actually, to be fair, the ban would come in after we got relegated. That just takes us back to like some of the other Tim Pot ones, like Spobets and stuff like.
Oh, I forgot about him. Yeah. XL. Didn't we get sponsored by XL for a while?
XL,
JobServe.
yeah, XL. Do you know what? I didn't mind XL because it's like Betway. Like when it's just a white text, like Alpari, like something simple like that. The color clashes. They're going to have to change their colors. Look, the red on claret is going to look horrendous. Yeah. Oh no! Oh, there you go. That's how they look. That's not. That's still. Is that Coventry?
It looks like Coventry.
Yeah. If it's the one color, I wouldn't mind it. But this is betting on. It still looks a bit Championship to me. But it's. That's why I'm excited to when we go back to when they ban the betting companies. When we have do you remember the 90s? And you had the Colesberg, the Super Tenants.
McEwen's. McEwen seems to sponsor loads of people, and I've never seen it anywhere.
Yeah, Dr. Martens, like Josiah said, we had Dr. Martens, fun brands. I wonder if we can go back to that. No more betting companies that you've never heard of. You never see really the top betting companies sponsor shirts, do you? It's always these no-name ones. They're
always the Far Eastern ones, aren't they? Don't have any shops or anything here, but operate in the Oriental markets. I think they're the ones who sort of sponsor Everton and all those.
Yeah, JobServe. That's probably the most tin pot sponsorship we have had in our history. JobServe.
You say that? Who was it? Was it when we sacked Roda and we were sponsored by them? And there was a big advert with obviously news article and headlines West Ham terminate Glenn Roda's contract. And then next to that is a big advert with JobServe. Are you looking for your next job? Yeah. I wonder if that's still around because obviously that predates social media. It's just one of them things that sticks in my mind. I wonder if there's a picture of it somewhere out there online.
Oh yeah,
but that was so typically West Ham. Yeah.
Let us know. That is, that I think that is our most tin pot sponsorship, without a doubt.
Yeah.
JobServe. I remember the April Fools when it said we was going to be sponsored by Durex, and everyone was like, "What the fuck? We're going to have Durex?" Everyone believed it. Which I would rather that than JobServe or Susan Bolt Sports. Poundland. That's going to back. Poundland. That's going to be it, isn't it? After the ban of sponsorship, we're going to be sponsored by Poundland or 99p or less store. That's what we get.
That's the one, 99p or less.
Yeah, that's going to be our sponsorship.
That's not going to be a sponsor. That's just going to be a for sale sticker that Sullivan's putting on all our midfielders.
Yeah. He might as well, isn't it? Yeah, isn't it? No, okay. Home bargains. That's what it is. Honestly, he's a fucking joke. Babe Station, guys. Babe Station still a thing? Does that still exist?
That's bringing back memories.
Do you know what, Sullivan? If he could, he'd love to see it sponsored by Babe Station.
Oh, he would.
I'm sure he's had shares in it. But yeah, so Fulkrug obviously came out after the Southampton game, and basically, I think he said what West Ham fans were all thinking. Basically said, it's shit. It's not good enough. Half the team are trying to score a second goal. Half the team are trying to defend the one goal that we've got and play defensive. And it's not good enough. And West Ham fans were spot on. Sky Sports tried to act like he said something that West Ham fans weren't happy with him. No, we loved it.
But we did.
Yeah. I didn't see a single West Ham fan that didn't fucking say spot on him. And I think his respect in the fan base went up massively when he said that.
Oh, definitely. Because you appreciate honesty. You appreciate the fact that someone in the club is seeing what we are seeing. And it very, very, very rarely ever feels like that. It very rarely ever feels like they're aware of how we feel. I mean, as a club in general, let alone for one of the players to come out and say that wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
I respect him for that massively.
And he didn't just, a lot of players very monotone say, we've got to do better. It's not good enough. He was angry. He even said he was genuinely pissed. You could see how much he cared in that. And you thought, yes, one of these players actually gives a shit because we're not seeing that on the pitch.
it was such a refreshing change from that usual, because footballers speak in that such mundane language of cliches they've got, where they're like, "Oh, we go again next week. The fans were amazing," and it's just like an ad lib kind of. You can second guess any footballer's interview. You could have a bingo.
You take it game by game.
Exactly. And it's like, so for someone to come out and not use those cliches and just to say exactly what they're thinking was so refreshing. I wish we'd see more of it, not just at West Ham, but across football. Because football, players do, I think, lose touch a little bit with fans. And I don't think it's helped by the fact that, they're so media trained within into their life that they lose almost all sort of personality and public persona. It's such a great thing to be able to see that from Fulkrug, and I'd love to see that more. I know Potter's come out and we can speculate it, but I want to see more of that. I want to see it not just from Fulkrug, I want to see it across the Premier League and across football.
Yeah, 100%. Well, getting on to what Potter said, he said, I think Fulkrug wears his heart on his sleeve. I would disagree with him in some things and agree with him in others. I'd be very interested to see what things he disagrees with, but he's entitled to his opinion. As a senior player, we've had lots of honest conversations, and I think for me, it's better to have the conversation in private, not public. Then as a group, we move forward. That's how it is. You need to be honest. You need to be able to say what you think, that's for sure, and then you think about them as a team as well. We have a responsibility to the team and the club, and from my perspective, sometimes I could be honest about how I really feel, but I don't think it's helpful to the players. I don't think it's helpful to the club. So we all have to be aware of our responsibilities as well. So, basically he said, no problem what he said. Problem with the platform that he said it in, the public sort of gallery where he said it. And I'm in two minds because I get it. I get where, if Potter come out every week and say, do you know what? These players have been crap. Like, that player, he played shit. This is shit. Like, they're not, he obviously has to say things in a way that doesn't throw his players under the bus. Like, and that he's used to managing that as a manager. It's not often players come out and say that. So he's thinking like, well, yeah, you're saying it publicly. Maybe it's going to put pressure on me as a manager. Maybe it's going to put pressure on the teammates. I get it. I just think in this instance, the timing of it, the fans needed to hear that. And so people are slating Potter for what he said there. I don't think he said anything crazy. I don't think he said anything controversial. I just feel like, for me, I'm very happy to have heard Fulkrug say it, and I get why Potter would have maybe an issue with it being public.
I understand Potter's frustration, but as you said, it was something fans needed to hear. It was great to come out, and it kind of did. It gave a little bit of positivity back to the fans that actually someone inside, like I said, they understand this and they get this. The problem I don't think is because of this, like I've just said, because footballers don't do this, they don't speak honestly very often. When they do, it becomes headline news. If Harry Maguire come out and said Man United have been crap all season, it would be headline news. But if everyone's doing it, it stops being headline news. And I think that's the real issue here. It isn't what Fulkrug said or the context in which he said it or the timing or the manner. It's the fact that nobody else does it. That's the issue. Because if everybody else did it, so let's not try and stifle that. Let's not try and see less of that. If anything, let's try and see more of it. And then it stops being an issue.
Yeah.
Because it's no longer this big newsworthy thing. It's just football that speaks honestly.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, look, he's you can tell he's fuming. He's in the heat of the moment. And he's been asked to go up and interview. Maybe someone should have looked at him and go, do you know what? I don't know the procedures, but maybe we won't have Fulkrug go up and be interviewed if we don't want him to say what he's going to say. So there shouldn't be any backlash on him because that's what we want to see in football. We want to see emotion from players. We don't want to see these media-trained robots who just look like... There's nothing that pisses you off more when you're a fan and you're fuming and you're pissed and you just got this robotic player going, yeah, like you said, like giving the same speech. We want to see the players care because based on performances, it's like they don't care. And we got to see that. So I feel a little bit more like before I see that, and I said on Facebook, I just don't feel any connection to this team. They don't resonate with me. I see that and I thought, I connect with that player. I get him. Like that's a West Ham player to me.
Yeah, I agree. This is just it. Yeah, it's great to see. It's great to see, and hopefully, I think tomorrow you're going to see a lot of love and a lot of support for Fulkrug. More than obviously he gets songs sung about him every week, but more so than usual. I think tomorrow you're going to see that real love and real affection from the away end towards Fulkrug.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's it. Look, for as long as he's here, I think he's made himself a little bit of a cult, status with that. And because look, before he said it, it's not like he's a shit player, and he said it like people were talking about his performances before that and how key he's been and things like that. And like I said, if he's got that mindset of no, score a goal, let's fucking keep going. That's what we want in the players. The problem is, and that's what I said on post-match pint, is a lot of these players are so just weak mentally. It's just and cowardly that we're not doing it as a team. And it's weird because them early games under Potter, like where's the first half of Villa performance? Where's the fucking Arsenal away performance? Where's that? Why don't we see that anymore? We've got it in us. What happened?
Do you know, I'd love to see this because I remember I think I said it in a fan cam after the cup game against Villa. You could see that the Potter came in and that game was like, okay, I'm going to try and press. And you could see for the first 45 or 60 minutes against Villa, we pressed and the players ran out of steam. Lopetegui didn't give players the fitness to go and play that way. And I thought, all right, great. We'll give him the rest of the season. He's going to get these players' fitness up. And we're going to start trying to attack teams and get on the front foot. And if anything, it's like we've regressed back. If you'd have told me Lopetegui was in the duck out on Saturday, I would have believed you. Like we're back to playing that very passive. Yeah. I'm not sure people call it a low block. I'm not sure what that is. I'll tell you what it is. It's pass, they press, we panic and we hoof the ball. And that was how we played under Lopetegui. There was a few passes on the back. Once the press came in, we panicked and we just launched it to no one. And that's what we did on Saturday.
It's how we played under Moyes last season. And this is what I was saying on the other day is 3 managers now, we're seeing the same shit. So I start to look at the players because from what we've seen under Potter, we know how this team can play. We don't see it nearly enough. And I'm sure Potter's not setting us up, and that's not the plan. Like, I just think that the players we've got, slow players, very slow physically and mentally with their decision-making, and lacking confidence, like you was talking about. I think that's a lot of that belief. We see that with Soler not going for an open goal and then turning back and passing backwards. That's in the players. Like, there's no way Potter says, listen, if you get a chance on goal, fucking just turn and pass backwards. I see, what was it? Was it Wolves away? Scholes was out wide, and I think it was Soler again, or was it Emerson? Instead of passing to the guy that's fucking out wide, running through, pass it backwards. Like, that's got to be in the players because they're too scared to make a mistake. Oh, what if the ball don't go in? What if I don't complete the pass? Like, that's the players. Like,
yeah. But fundamentally, I mean, it's the manager that picks them, and it's the same players that underperform.
What has he got to pick from, though, Dave? What has he got to pick from?
This is, I get that, but you've got, Kudus is well off. Why not start Guillermo? Give Guillermo the rest of the season. If Kudus is going in the summer and you're selling him to Saudi, see what he can do. If in 5 or 6 games you see something that makes you go, do you know what? We can sell Kudus 100 million, and we don't need to spend a big chunk of that buying his replacement because we've got trust in Guillermo. Obviously, some of it will come back as well. Then but the more you keep persisting with these players, the more you keep persisting with Soler, with Mavropanos, with Kudus in his form, the more Ferguson off the bench, the harder it is to get behind you, the harder it is to go, okay, well, you're seeing the problems we're seeing and you're trying to change it. It's just you're persisting with the same problems that we're paying to watch week in, week out.
I think you make good points. and I don't disagree with you. There's two questions that I have in terms of the Kudus and the Mavropanos. One, with Kudus, I wonder if we dropped him and turned him into a bench player now for the rest of the season, would that devalue him in a transfer window? And with Mavropanos, if the reports are true about Todibo having fitness issues, maybe that explains why we're seeing Mavropanos off the bench and coming on for Todibo if Todibo can't play 90. Because that is a mad... To see Todibo playing as well as he plays, you would have to be mental to take off Todibo for Mavropanos unless there's a fitness issue.
Yeah, no, to go to the first point, obviously, I understand what you're saying, but then equally, if Kudus continues to play the form he's playing, he's going to devalue himself. And there's also the chance that, he could turn up quickly tomorrow, does a ligament in his knee, and he's out for 6 months, and you can't send him in the summer anyway. So there's forward against for both of them. With Mavropanos, I think Caelan Casey's out injured at the moment, and he'd be your go-to when your go-to youngster. I'm convinced. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I'm convinced that boy's going to play for England. He's the real deal. But beyond that, I mean, there's always you could put Alvarez into a defence. Alvarez can play.
Well, we can't because apparently before the game, something's kicked off, and now he's persona non grata. Like, we're not going to see him again.
I mean, if that's a personal issue between him and Potter, Potter's got to get over it, and Potter's got to go, and he's got to be the bigger man. He's being paid to manage a football club, do the right thing by that football club. I mean, if it is an injury, I suppose Cresswell can come in, and you can bring in someone in the midfield. But you can play Cresswell with Kilburn.
Well, that's if we want to go to a back four, I guess. Like,
I get what you're saying. It's a hard one. It's a hard one.
It's tough, and with the Alvarez, like most of the time, if a player's there, like, you've got to find a way to fix it as the manager, as the coach. Although it's hard for me to fully get behind saying that when I don't know what the fuck's apparently gone on. Like, Todibo apparently punched or tried to punch Lopetegui. Like, and so that one, I get it. Like, I fully get it if you're the manager going, fuck that, I'm not playing this geezer again. I don't know what's happened with Alvarez. They've been very vague on it. So, but if it is salvageable, this is a key player. If you just drop him in and sell him, you're devaluing him, and then there's a player there that we could use. So, but I don't know what happened.
I think someone's in the chat earlier with Alvarez. I thought it's a back injury. Now, nobody has back injuries. It's one of those you pull because you can't disprove it. So you can say, he's got a problem with his back, and no one can ask any questions. So
you know what? Ozil used to get so many back injuries. I remember Ozil. Like, whenever they go away or something, when they wanted to drop him and wanted to save face, he has a back injury. Like, that's the classic, like, save face excuse.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not buying there's an injury. If something personal has gone on between them, just ride it. You've got a month to go of the season. Just ride it out. Make the right calls for the football club, and deal with this in the summer. But dropping him now and pretending he's got a back problem just isn't the right way to go about this.
Do you know what, though? To cheer us all up, I'm going to tell this great joke. I've just seen the funniest fucking joke ever. And there's no way for me to... I've got to tell this joke. So, here it is. Spurs will target Jared Bowen this summer to test West Ham's resolve. Ange Postecoglou is likely to be replaced before next season, but Daniel Levy will try and take advantage of Hammer's financial losses by trying to tempt them with an offer. Spurs would need to lodge a bid in way excess of £100 million.
It's not going to happen. Spurs don't spend that kind of money, for one thing. And secondly, I don't think with his father-in-law that he'll be going anywhere near that football club at any point in his career.
Can you imagine, like, we would burn the stadium down. West Ham fans, if that happened, West Ham fans, we would burn that sorry shithole to the ground if Sullivan dared sell fucking Bowen to Spurs, mate. Like, he would never, he would not. He's not that stupid, Sullivan. He is not that stupid.
The only club I could have seen taking Bowen this summer before he signed his contract extension was Liverpool as a replacement for Salah. I can see that, but otherwise I can't see. Someone said to me about Newcastle, but I can't see that either. I don't think Newcastle would spend. I just say sell Isak. I don't think they're going to spend that kind of. I don't think that money to spend. I can't see Bowen going this summer. Like, unless we want to sell him, and unless Sullivan starts ringing people up and going, we'll take 65 or 70 million for him. That's the only way I see Jared Bowen going. And it'll be because Sullivan picks up the phone and wants to sell, not because Jared Bowen wants to leave.
Mate, like if they wanted to offer something like 300 mil, then like something, it'd have to be, for me to be okay with that, it would have to be the most ridiculous fee you've ever heard, like something like that, where we're getting way more the better deal, like the record fees.
Yeah.
But no, they can try, but they'll just be wasting their time. I just found that so hilarious. I can't see us doing business with them ever again. Like,
no, because again, there's no one that he's not going to put that. But then, who would you want from them? Who would what Spurs player at the moment on the form they've done this season would you want in this team? None of them.
Yeah,
none of them.
Yeah, none
maybe a push Van der Ven. I think Van der Ven's got something about him as a centre half. But other than that, no.
Yeah, but his fitness has been sketchy. A lot of their fitness.
Yeah,
has been
true.
sketchy.
Yeah, exactly.
Kulusevski, maybe I would take.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be a direct replacement for Bowen, wouldn't it? But
yeah, Kulusevski
maybe
would be
120 million plus Kulusevski, and then we've got money to. Yeah, maybe I could see that where I'm like.
It would be sickening to see Bowen in a Spurs shirt, and it'd be.
It'd be golden. It would almost. It would hurt me more than seeing a number 41 in a Woolwich shirt. Put it that way.
Yeah,
that would be painful.
Even thinking about it makes me queasy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one's a non-starter. Like, we've got issues with.
I hope whoever made that lie up has got the clicks they wanted.
I mean, look, it wouldn't surprise me. It's come through Sean, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah. So
I hope you got the clicks you wanted, Sean, for that.
Yeah, there you go. So he's got, like, it's just such a pointless story because there's just no fucking chance.
Maybe we should start our own. Let's start our own rumour and see if that can get any traction.
Yeah.
Barcelona want Danny Ings.
Yeah. Barcelona.
There you go.
Yeah. Real Madrid to sign Mavropanos for 100 million.
There you go. You heard it here. Friday Night Pint, exclusive first. Mavropanos to Real Madrid for £100 million.
Quote us on that. If you do want to post that, make sure you quote the source. Then one final thing, a nice little message here that I see, and I thought, you know what a nice thing. It was Connor Coventry he talked about Pablo Fornals, and he said, in the process of me leaving for West Ham, Fornals helped me. I still speak to him. Fornals treated every young player as if they were his son, even new signings. He went out of his way to bond with them, and just, what an amazing human being, what a top bloke Pablo Fornals was, and what just a loss to the club it was when we sold him. Just to have someone like that is captain material. He loved this club, he loved playing for the club, and I think that was a real loss selling him.
Even ability wise, I mean, like, he could play that central midfield role, he could play that number 8. He wasn't just a left winger, he wasn't just a number 10, he could play it deeper. And what we would give to have that in the squad right now as an option. I read that. I felt a little bit sad for Connor. I read the whole article. I think it was on the Athletic about how he had a despondent he felt when suddenly he was a West Ham player 1 minute and the next he wasn't.
Yeah, it's a real shame. We all had high hopes for him, and it's a show. Hopefully he really kicks on and he finds a way back. But I just think. For now, it's like you said, like in the lead up to before we sold him, Moyes started playing him centrally, and he was looking really good. And then we just sold it. Like, so frustrating, man. And like I said, characters like that are just as valuable off the pitch as on the pitch. And having someone like that around the club, and I think he would have fit in now with what we're hopefully trying to accomplish next season. So it's a real shame, just a special character. So I'll always love Fornals.
Maybe there's a deal. If Betis want Guido back, we can do a swap. We'll take Pablo back. They can have Guido. Like, how good would that work out for everyone? Maybe not Betis.
No, let's do it. I'll take that deal all day long, mate.
100%. 100%.
Well, listen, Dave, mate, it was great having you on.
Thank you very much. It's been great to be on.
Nicky made an attempt that failed. So now, listen, I think it was a good one just to go through all of these bloody players. It's going to be a very interesting summer, that's for sure.
It will. Fingers crossed we can get it right, because you look at obviously Leeds coming up. They're a big club. They're going to have the standing and the backing to do a lot better, I think, than the priority clubs did this year. Burnley have built a tight ship. They're going to be better than Southampton and Leicester were, this year. So, we really have got to kick on and be better next year than we were. I'm not worried about the playoff winners. Whoever comes up, I think will go straight back down. But those two certainly, I think, are in a better position than the two that come up. Southampton and Leicester who come up. So it's going to be a bit tighter at the bottom next year, and we've really got to make sure we pull away from that.
Yeah, we have to. We really have to step it up next season. Although, like, a few rivals were saying to me, like, West Ham, you're lucky. The 3 teams below you have been so shit. Otherwise, you go down. And I was like, well, we're on 36 points in recent seasons, right? And there's still points on the table, but I can't remember the last time a team went down on 36 points. Like, the standard is generally lower. Like, so we're 4 points off of the magic 40 points. The 40-point thing is not even a thing anymore, because no one's been relegated on 39 points probably since we were. Like, when last time we went.
Yeah.
So
that was a painful one.
Yeah, like the threshold. Like, look, Ipswich, who they're on 21 points, right, and they're third from bottom. Like, last season, it was in the 20s, I believe. Like, it's been in the 20s. So, like, 30 is the magic 30 points. Really, is you get to 30 points, you're guaranteed safety. That's how bad the teams coming up have generally been.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get the same next. I think next season's going to be one where you are going to need like those 35, 36 points. Hopefully we can get a result tomorrow, or Newcastle get a result tomorrow, and this all goes to bed for this season. But next season,
that's actually, let's quickly preview that Brighton game then. We haven't got the bet. We've sort of broke the curse in a way, but still our record against them, especially up there, it's not great, really and truly. And we're in poor form. They're inconsistent. They're not like the on-form Brighton. They're very inconsistent. Looking at their form, what has it been? They've lost. They've out of their last 5 games, they have 2 draws, 3 losses. So they're not in amazing form, better than us, but we shouldn't be scared, but we need to raise our levels. And we have been better away from home. That's the only little bit of positivity it gives me and a little bit of hope. I don't know if you have any sort of, I don't want to say confidence, because I don't think any of us can be confident right now, but any belief that we can potentially get a win, because I don't want to say a point, because now I just want to see us win a fucking game. For God's sake.
I don't have any confidence in my head that we'll win, but there's something in my gut that just says Graham Potter's going back to his old side. He's going to have a point to prove. And maybe, especially after this week, after that Fulkrug interview, maybe he's going to spark some life into the dressing room. Maybe we are going to get, a little bit of a show on the back of it, and the players are going to come out and go, all right, we've got to take responsibility for this, and we're going to start putting something in. So, I'm not confident, but the less confident I am, the more likely it is West Ham will get a result. That's just the way we are, you know.
Oh yeah, that's how I am every time. When I'm confident, I'm nervous. I don't like being confident because that's usually when it comes back to bite me. So yeah, look, Potter's going to have to really think about this team that he's putting out there, and I want to see 100% from every single player out there. So many of them players should be fucking grateful for the chance to put the shirt on again after that Southampton game. So they need to go out and make it up to the fans and do everything to go and get that win. So it's massive. Red 5 says, can we address Potter out? Now, Dave, you was quite heated. I don't think you said Potter out on your fan cam, but you did say, you know, maybe about shipping him back to Sunday League.
Yeah, let me address that. That was very much on the premise that if we was going to continue seeing results of performances like that.
Yeah.
Am I Potter out? No, but I will caveat that by saying I'm really struggling to see. You know, he's had 15 games, I think it is now, and I'm really struggling to see what the idea, what the plan is, how he's, you know, what he's trying to implement going to next season. I don't see, you know, the changes in the personnel that make me think, okay, well, he's going to try something new. Maybe, you know, next season he's got one eye on, you know, Guilherme, for example. And that's what I want. What I want right now for these last 5 games is I just want something to take, some kind of positivity, something that can I can go, okay, great, I can hang my hat on that for next season. Next season, you know, there is cause or this belief that things are going to improve, things are going to be better. But it's really it's difficult at the moment because that isn't there from what we're seeing on the pitch. And who knows how much money we're going to get for players for Kudus and possibly Paquetá. Who knows how much money Sullivan's going to make available to spend, because this squad, or this, not so much the squad, but this team, this first 11 does need big investment. Yeah. So I would keep with Potter, but I'm going to caveat by saying that this does need to improve at the same time. That what he's giving us at the moment isn't good enough, and we really need to start seeing something better.
Well, we've got 2 very contrasting opinions in the chat. Red 5 says, I'm Potter out 100%. And on the complete other end of the spectrum, we've got Alfie J with, we need to suck Potter. Now, I think...
Alfie, that's the I'm not volunteering for that one.
Yeah, that you on your own there, Alfie, with that one. But that's how you know, split the fan opinions are. 2 opposite ends of the spectrum there for the fan base. Yeah. For me, I don't think there's anything that's gonna make me Potter out this season, short of the unthinkable happening and Ipswich winning all their games and us losing all our games and getting relegated, right? That would be it for me, just because, like I said, we've seen the same thing under 3 different managers now. At this point, like, to me, the idea, unless we get relegated, the idea of Potter out is just not realistic, because it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So there's no point me putting energy to it. But the fact that for me to even want that, I just can't see it, because I have no faith in the mess that is this squad. I have no faith. So
I've got 2 questions for you as well. The other thing is that it's all well and good saying, okay, Potter out. But firstly, who do you want to replace him? And secondly, who do you think Sullivan's going to replace him with? And if your answer is anything other than Sean Dyche, I will be amazed for the second.
This is it, isn't it? There's no trust there, really, at this stage. Like, we've lost Steidton. We've lost the guy that at least would. And look, it didn't work with Lopetegui because he was identifying like Amorim, and then Sullivan wanted Lopetegui. And people can say what they like about Amorim. I think Amorim is in a similar situation to Potter. He's got a load of crap at his team that needs to be cleared out, and new players come in. But at least he's got them to a semi-final. So yeah, like we're just in a weird place. Steve Cooper, do me a favor. So yeah, and look, when Red Fire says, "Do you trust Potter with the rebuild?" With whoever we get in, who are we going to trust with a rebuild? Say we do get. I'm struggling to think of a manager like that. I would go, yeah, like, do you know what? He's gettable, and I wouldn't mind seeing him. I know I always say like we should be looking at managers maybe we ain't even heard of, but at this stage, Sullivan's not going to do that. He wants a name. He wants something bankable. There's no one I can look out there that I would trust to really work with Sullivan. So listen, if you've got Silva, I don't think we're getting Silva. I don't think he's gettable right now for West Ham. I don't think that's gettable. Cooper, you can piss off with that. Zidane, Dreamland. So these aren't gettable, man. Like we're in the shit right now, and we need a massive rebuild. You're saying cash. We have not got the funds to rebuild our squad on top of paying Potter compensation and then getting a manager out of his contract. So we have to. When has Sullivan ever bought a manager out of his contract? We have to splash money to buy him out of his contract, rebuild the squad, and then pay Potter compensation. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. The Ipswich manager, McKenna, maybe, but that's another look. They've had a shocking. It's another risk. We might as well see what Potter can do with this recruitment analysis, and then go from there. Like, yes, he should have had more of an impact, Potter. I agree. We should have seen something. But I just think at this stage, when we've got a deal in place with Potter for next season where we can sack him for nothing if it don't work out, it's just not going to happen. Like, and we're just in a weird place as a club at the moment that I don't think we're going to get the exciting manager we want in the summer.
I think the only manager as a football club we've ever spent compensation on, and I'm open to being proven wrong on this, is Pardew. So, I mean, West Ham as a football club don't have a background for it. You know, we don't have a chairman like
Golden Sullivan as well. That's a pre-Sullivan.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, if you sack Potter, you've got to sack McCauley. You've then got to bring in someone that doesn't know the squad. You've got to bring in a new recruitment guy. They're going to have new ideas, a new style of play, and you've got to kind of completely tear everything Potter's done up to accommodate it, and everything McCauley's done to accommodate it. And yeah, that isn't going to happen. And equally, like you said, I mean, it'd be great if we had Bournemouth went and got Iraola from nowhere. You know, nobody knew who he was. Turn up Bournemouth, brilliant job. You know, De Zerbi, Hertzler at Brighton. You know, Thomas Frank at Brentford. Like, some chairmen have got that nous and that knack for doing it. We don't. It'll be, like I said, the only guy that he'll replace Potter with will be Sean Dyche. I am convinced of that. Out of work, Premier League experience, older British head, or Steve Bruce.
That's also. So remember, we have no direct, but we have no structure in place now. We have Sullivan making those decisions on the manager. So just remember that. Keep that in mind. So let's not think about Silva and the managers that we want. Think about, if we sack Potter, who will Sullivan sign? Because now he's the one in complete control. And that's where we are. That's where he's left us. So like Dave said, Potter's worked with this squad, for better or worse. He knows what we've got. He's got youngsters that we've got coming back. So let's give him a chance. Let's see if Carl McCall, because he hasn't even had a transfer window. So to say we trust him, he ain't even had a chance to bring his players in. We didn't get the chance. We got Ferguson on loan because we were desperate, because Antonio got in a car crash. If Antonio never had that car crash, we don't get Ferguson. We stick with Antonio. So it's the only reason. So at least, and I get it. I can get why people are pessimistic, but I just think, and it's hard because when you got your club and you're just like, fuck, I got to wait till next season, and there's still games left. It's horrible. You want to affect the team. You want something to change. You want it to improve now. It's hard to just sit back and go, next season. I get it, but I just think it's futile. It's a waste of energy to try and push Potter out at this stage.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So So yeah, hopefully next season we sign some gems, we get the youth back, we get like Pops back in this midfield, Earthy, you know, and these youngsters really hit the ground running with some quality added on top.
Fingers crossed, they get opportunity.
Yeah. So yeah, no, thank you everyone. Listen, today we had a lot covered there. Good long chat. Thank you for joining me on this Friday. And listen, let's just hope the boys don't fucking embarrass us again, whatever happens tomorrow. Let's see.
2-0 West Ham.
2-0 West Ham. Oh, that's a confidence in our defence that I'm not sure I have at the moment. Not that we've been terrible defensive, but we've always got at least one. I'm going to say 2-1 West Ham. Yeah. I've no fucking right to predict a win tomorrow, but I'm doing it. So let's have it, please, West Ham. It's like that fucking meme of Titanic. It's been 70 years. That's what it feels like.
It does.
West Ham win. Was it Arsenal? Was that the last game we won?
That was 6-7 weeks ago.
Oh, that is so West Ham. Beat Arsenal away and then just fucking don't win again. The West Ham way. So listen, thank you everyone. We'll have a watch along tomorrow. I've messaged Jace to see if he'll be joining me or he's going to go, I'm working. Let's see what he said. Nah, working. Unfound it. Whatever that fucking means. So yeah. Thank you all for watching. One thing left to say. Come on, you eyes.
Come on.